Hi, Marcel, the Wood Butcher here. We're going to start off with the regular logo. Hey, you got a view here, get off the space station. The Wood Butcher. Okay? Today's format is going to be a little bit different, and I really think you're going to find it interesting because, as I haven't done in a lot of my previous videos where I promised in 2016 they would be more instructional and more detailed, and guilty as charged, I haven't really done it as of yet. But anyway, today's the start. What we're going to talk about today, and my previous viewers know me, if I want to have a cigarette while I'm talking to you, I'm gonna. So give me a break, 1 second. See, I work for myself, so I can take all the cigarette breaks I want. Okay. Oh, and let me get just a with the whistle, a little shot of Gatorade. My favorite Gatorade is the Cool Blue. Is that what it is? Cool Blue? Ah, that's my favorite. I love it. Ah, okay. But anyway, what we're going to talk about today is a lot of my previous viewers know that I had a recent where project where the wood butcher turned into carpenter slash floor tiler. And something struck me, and it struck me like a bolt of lightning after the fact, where I should have taken videos of the process. And like an idiot, I didn't. I took still pictures. And I didn't actually take any still pictures of the tools that were used to make that whole floor replacement happen. I took still photos of the before, during, and after, and during, and this and that, and this and that. But anyway, I had to replace, first of all, we had to rip up all the old tile, that was the stick on linoleum that was surprised. There was ceramic underneath that, the mosaic ceramic with that mesh stuff on the back. And much to my surprise, we completed it. Had to cut out pieces of base floor, not the slats for the sub floor, but some of the slats to replace the plywood and the snap because there was some water damage, stuff like that. I mean, the house was built in like either 1954 or 1955. I mean, I'm proud to say I'm still in the same house that I was born and raised in, and it was my parents' house. Okay, but now we have it. Okay, and it struck me the only tool other than a hammer and a crowbar, but power tool that I used for the whole entire process were all a very various Dremel tools. So this video is going to be an introduction to Dremel tools, and I'm also going to show and talk about the three Dremel tool must-haves if you do any woodworking or home repair. And it also might save you a lot of money on some power tools, bigger power tools that you might not need as a beginning woodworker or carpenter. Okay. And I'm also going to talk about a various amount of would be nice to haves or should haves. But hey, you got to go with the budget like me. My viewers have seen my catastrophe video really showing the dark side, not the dark side of me, but the kind of fun idiot side of me with my video called Low Budget, right? When I was dancing and jamming to the Kinks' Low Budget song, because that's basically my theme song. I'm on a low budget. If it wasn't for low budget, I'd have no budget at all. But anyway, that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to introduce you to, and I'm actually going to display the assortment of Dremel tools that I have. And at the end of the video, when we go through it, I'm going to tell you why. Why? And I mean exactly why. No bullshit, no nothing. Why I chose Dremel to be the specialty tools of choice. Okay? First of all, we're going to go on the space station a second, and I'm going to give you a display. Yeah, hey, I need a shave, don't I? Okay, of my Dremel tools. Here's the Dremel tools I have. I have the Dremel rotary tool model, the Dremel 4000, which is a corded rotary tool. I also have the cordless Dremel. This one here is, and all of these are about 2-3 years old, so have been used. I mean, you can see, let me hold this up, that it's been used. Let me bring it over in the light. It's been used. It's not marred free or anything like that, but this is the Dremel 4000 corded rotary tool. Goes from 5,000 RPM all the way up to 35,000. Now, there are smaller models out there. I'm trying to get this right. There are smaller models out there like the 3,000 or something, but if you really want something with some balls, go for the Gusto and get the 4,000. Now, like I said, this is about 2-3 years old. They may have a newer model out there that even does more than 35,000 RPM. I don't know. Okay. The next one you're gonna have to bear with me because I'm doing this remotely and I can't see what the hell I'm doing. So is out of this assortment I'll walk them over here one by one. How about that? Is the Dremel cordless, and it at the time this one's about I guess about 4 years old. But it's the Dremel cordless, and again, it goes from 0 to 10,000 RPM. Well, to number 10, which, from what I understand, with this guy, again, is like 35 RPM. For cordless, it's great. It's great. But if you're using a cordless, they're great for in the field for cutting a couple holes in drywall for to insert wall plates and stuff like that. But you have to keep in mind you're cordless, so keep battery charging time in mind, or get a second battery. But the higher number that they have on these cordless tools, the better they are. Oh, I should show the brand name, shouldn't I? I'm trying, right? And I'm not even 100% sure the model number on here, but it's what the hell does that say? Here, you can probably read it better than I can. 10.8 volt variable speed. Oh, 5,000 to 35,000 RPM model. What's that? 860, I think. These old eyes don't see too well. Oh, no, model 800. Okay. Now the must-have is the cordless, is the corded, or the cordless is nice to have. Next up in the arena is my Dremel Multi-Max. It's the Dremel Multi-Max. This one happens, and it's corded. This one happens to have the grout remover bit on it. It's an Okay, I'm going to put this back up here for a second. So no, I'm not. I'm going to hold it. It's an oscillating tool, right? And it's corded. But let me tell you something. This guy works with, there are, I don't know how many attachments. Oh, by the way, even for the Dremel rotary tools, there's got to be like 1,400, over 1,400 bits, grinders, sanders, cutters, attachments that can be attached to it, and this and that. I mean, Dremel to me is like the godsend of must-have power tools. And I'm not talking about you're going to build a house with a Dremel, but you can sure as hell fix your house and do small projects with it, and especially woodworking projects with these tools, okay? The Dremel Multi-Max, let me get it right, right here. This is another must-have. Must-have. So far from must-have, we have at least one of the rotary tools. My recommendation is the corded or the cordless, depending on your applications, right? And then we come to the beast of beasts, the Dremel beast of beasts. And they have something even better than this, but I own this one. I don't own the other one, right? And it's the Dremel Saw-Max. This guy is a beast. It's a beast. Now, it comes with an assortment of blades. It'll cut through wood. It'll cut through metal. It'll cut through tile. It'll cut through, not with the various different blades. And all of these I've shown you so far come, if you buy the kit and don't buy the tool itself, come with, a nice heavy plastic carrying case, right? And an assortment, to tantalize you of the various blades. The blade that I have on here right now is a Dremel 540. I hope you can see that. A 540, and it's made for tile because that's the project I just finished. I got to tell you, it took this guy, after cutting about 22, 26 tiles, where it finally said, my diamond tip is getting a little tired. You know, can you get a new blade for me? So I did. I ordered 4 more. But this guy, it is. I have to say tits. I have to say tits. I have to. The Dremel Saw-Max. There, it's got an adjustable foot. I got to put the mic, the camera down for a second so I can really show this. Okay, and I got to get the cord out of the way so I don't pull the friggin' thing down while I'm showing you. Okay, it's got a foot on it that adjusts from 0 to a maximum of 3/4 of an inch. That's the most it will cut, is 3/4 of an inch deep. Is that a downside? No, because when I had to cut the underfloor, not the subfloor, but the underfloor, I set it. I hope you can see this. I set it to, there's graduations on there. I don't know, because I know my lighting sucks, where you set it to where you want. Well, when I set it, I took it to an 1/8 inch and just an RCH, which is a red, well, it's a military aircraft adjustment, but an RCH is a very little past what depth I wanted. And I tell you, it took that plywood out. I had to use the chisel to cut very, very little plywood splinters out there from the bottom ply than you'd ever believe. But that's the Saw-Max. This is a must-have, okay? And the blade locks easy, right? If you want to, when you want to lock to change the blade, you just push here and boom, use the Allen wrench screw. It's got a safety handle on it because, now keep in mind, this tool, I'll kind of compare it to a radial arm saw. If you don't know what you're doing, don't use it, because at 65,000 or whatever RPMs it is, and it has no real guard on it, right? You're going to get hurt. So it has a double trigger system, which for it to operate, you have to take this black thing. I'm going to try to do it from this way, right? Push it forward and then pull the trigger. And if you are doing a long cut and want to lock the trigger, they smartly put the lock back here that locks the trigger down. But as soon as you hit that trigger, I didn't even lock it because it's not powered on, so the lock won't work. But this is a must-have. They make more attachments for this. Now, this is probably about a ½ inch away, if you go by the float here, to where you want to cut. They make another blade that's for wood, whatever, that is kind of beveled where it sticks out on this side of the blade guard along here. And let me tell you something. It's called a flush cut. And let me tell you something. When Dremel calls it a flush cut, they ain't bullshitting you. I mean, that sucker will circumcise a knot. Okay? That's the must-haves. Now, we got to go back to the... I got to bring the camera back to the table here a minute. The table happens to be the top of my table saw. Happens to be the top of my table saw. But because that's the only thing I could find that I could really display most of this stuff. And here we go, okay? So there's all my Dremels, right? Now, this tall guy here, we're going to get to in a second. These attachments here that come in these handy plastic cases, if you choose to buy them that way, and believe me, there's only 4 of them here, right? For well, they're for polishing, for cutting, for metal, for engraving, this and that. But I have more of them. I have more of the Dremel attachments and different bits and stuff for the rotary tool, the Multi-Max, and the Saw-Max that I can even begin to display on that Craftsman table saw. Now I want to go into the nice to haves. For this, I'm going to put the camera back up on the pedestal here. Okay. And the reason I call these nice to haves, now there are many more nice to haves. I got to adjust this again so I can fit the goddamn thing on here. There are many more nice to haves that I don't have yet, but believe me, I will have. And every one of the nice to haves I have found extremely, extremely useful. Okay. The number one nice to have, I already covered this before, is the cordless Dremel. But go for the ones, they'll cost you a couple of dollars more, but go for the ones that go up to 35,000 RPMs. The must-have is the corded. Depending on what you're going to use it for. Now, a lot of people use the 3,000. I think they have a step below that, whatever. Go for the 4,000 minimum. Minimum. If they have, like I said, my Dremel 4000, the rotary tool, the corded rotary tool I showed, is probably about 3-4 years old. I don't even know if they're still at 4,000. But the thing has never failed me. The only way the cordless rotary tool, the nice to have, ever failed me is the friggin' battery went dead. That was it. But it got a lot of cuts. It probably cut about 15 out of drywall, 5/8 drywall or 3/4 inch drywall, whatever. It probably cut them, the little 3-inch by 2-inch squares to put outlets in, with the blades or the inserts that go with it. And like I said, for the rotary tools, they have about 1,400 different attachments that are just the bits. We're not even going to get into the other stuff yet. The next one is what they call the Dremel Workstation. If memory serves me right, and I might be wrong on this part number, I think it's called the Dremel 220 Workstation. Let me get it. Here, I gotta take the camera off. Ah, shit, there went the speaker, which I was trying to avoid. I moved the camera or cable away from it. But here it is. I'm going to give you a side shot, so, which is going to be side, but now I shouldn't do that, right? But here it is, right? And it's actually a very versatile tool. What it basically is Dremel's version of a drill press made for either their corded or cordless rotary tools. Okay? Tool fits in here. It rotates. I now keep in mind I do not have this attached to the table through the 4 screws and stuff like that, but it I gotta loosen these things, but it rotates 90 degrees or any point in between. It has stops at certain normal, or most used degrees of rotation, but you can set it anywhere you want. All you got to do is lock this guy down and this guy down, and there it is. Does it move up? Does it move up and down? Yes, it does. It goes down to a 0 clearance all the way up to here. I think the most clearance you're going to get out of it, and it also rotates. Even if you wanted something that was you needed a little more space, it'll rotate, right, 180 degrees on the other side of the pad that comes with it. Okay, I'm just going to let this drop down because, like I said, I don't have any of these stops locked down right now because I'm demonstrating it. Okay, it comes with this nifty little tool holder on the top, for your wrench, your most used, inserts and stuff like that, right? But a lot of people, choose not to use this because sometimes it just gets in the way of your work. Okay, it's also got this thing up top that is to hold if you're using a corded Dremel 4000, right? That your cord hangs on this guy, which freely rotates. And I've heard a lot of people complain saying they don't like this thing because it just spins and spins and spins. Well, hey, hello, McFly, right? If you have your tool in here, and I mean your Dremel tool, let's make that clear. In here, there's an insert here and an insert here for you to put the cord into to raise it up to so it's not flopping during your work. All this is doing is keeping it from the outlet to your Dremel workstation, right, without getting in your way. This thing is so versatile. I mean, you're not going to use it with a 3/4-inch drill to drill through diamond plate steel. But if you're making things where you need like real small precision holes and stuff like that, it'll do what the Dremel will do. It's not, the Dremels are not, like I said, they're not to build a house with on the norm. Let me put this thing back so I can get my counter space back, okay? But here we go. And put you back here, right? But that's my assortment of Dremels. And like I said, the accessories here, that is only a small portion. I'm hooked on my clamps here. Wait a minute. Oh, man, I really screwed this up. My camera's moving all over the place. But hey, you know me. I'm the wood butcher. I don't edit these things. They go on as they were recorded. I don't have any editing software. Even though the Windows 10 came with, Windows Movie Maker, stuff like that, I don't use it. Hey, live is better. It's the real me. Okay. Now, some of the other attachments that are available, which are nice to have, is for the rotary tool, the Dremel 4000 or the Dremel cordless rotary tool. They actually have a 90-degree adapter that goes on it, so you can hold the tool this way and drill or cut or screw this way, a 90-degree adapter. They also have a flexible shaft where if you really, really want to get to integral inlays and letter carving and stuff like that, the friggin' thing holds in your hand like a pencil, like a pen. And it's a flexible hose, well, not hose, but shaft that you hold in your hand, and you can write just like you're using a pen, right? They also have an extension cord for that. If the 6 foot isn't enough for you, you can get it up to like 8 foot long, 12 foot long. Let me tell you something. Dremel. I love Dremel. If I were an alien that had 5 fingers or 5 sets of hands, five, like that old Indian thing that had with the hands on every side coming up and this and that. Every one of those hands would have a thumbs up for Dremel. And let me tell you why. There's a couple reasons why. Number one, it's the quality of the tools. Number two, depending on what you purchase, you can purchase just the tool itself. But if you purchase it by the kit, you get a nice plastic carrying case that'll hold a lot of the accessories for that particular tool in it. For example, the Dremel Saw-Max box, right? When you open it up, you're going to see I'm dropping stuff out of it. There's a place for your bits. And this is a handy little attachment that we'll get into when we get into really how to use this thing. But, and it's all there. Okay? Every one of these. Now, when I purchased them as a kit. And I'll be honest with you. I purchased them from a box store. And I purchased my first Dremel cordless rotary tool, I purchased from Big Lots. It was cheap. I mean, it was inexpensive. It was like half the price of buying the Dremel from Dremel or a box store. But the battery and the battery charger shit the bed went bad after about a year. Not quite a year. Probably over a year. Just over a year. Even though I bought it, and there's a little sticker on it that says factory refurbished by Dremel. I called Dremel up. Look at me. I'm still thinking of the rotary phones, right? I hit speed dial on the cell phone, or I hit the buttons on the phone, whatever, right? Called Dremel up. Spoke to a customer service rep. They gave me an RMA number. Told me pack the tool, the battery, and the charger, right? But not any of the accessories. Sent me a label via email to send it back to Dremel, and it took a day or two in transit to get there. But within like 3 days, not only did I get an email, I got a phone call back from Dremel, from their customer service and repair department, saying that your original rotary tool we don't make anymore, and we can't fix or replace the battery or the charger. Now, keep in mind, this was purchased from Big Lots. It's refurbished. Dremel factory refurbished. They sent me a whole brand new tool and battery charger. Not the whole box and kit, because I already had it, but the whole shebang. A new tool, a 35,000 RPM cordless tool, a new battery, and a new battery charger. And you know what it cost me? I almost fell out of the chair when they told me what the cost was to replace something they don't make anymore. They didn't charge me a goddamn nickel. Not for the postage either way or anything. No questions asked. Fixed. We can't fix it. Here's a new one, and it's the latest model we have out. Now, the one I sent them was probably 2-3 years old. The replacement that I have now is probably 2, 3 years old, maybe 4. I don't know. But that's why I love Dremel. Like I said, they're not, if you're going to build a house, the only time you're going to use the Dremel is when it comes to things like your finished molding. If you're going to tile, to use the oscillating tool to, adjust your door jabs and molding and stuff like that if they're already in. Home improvements and with construction, tight corners, stuff like that, little stuff. You're not going to cut a 2x6 with them. You're not going to cut a 2x4 with them. But seriously, like I said, if I were one of them Indian, what do they call them? Not gods, but deities. That's what they call them. That whole, all them arms coming up, all of them would be thumbs up for Dremel. You really want to see what Dremel has to offer? Go to their website. Take a look. Take a look, especially if you click on, like, the model you have, like the rotary tool or something like that. They have a PDF that's a poster in color of all the accessories that are available for that tool that you can either keep as a PDF on your PC. When you need something, you come across a project and say, oh shit, I don't have that, but I need it. Boom, get it. And you don't have to buy them from Dremel. You can get them at Lowe's. You can get them at Home Depot. You can get them at most hardware stores. You can get them on Amazon. The amazing thing about the Dremel is all the other manufacturers out there that make the rotary tools and the Saw-Max compatibles and stuff like that, especially the Multi-Max, where they have those little pins in there that fit. Rockwell, Bosch, DeWalt, all of them fit the Dremel. The Dremel actually gives you attachments that you might have to use. I've never had to use one yet, to use a Bosch blade or a DeWalt blade or an off-the-wall brand blade that I was going, like a Harbor Freight crap that I was only going to use once and never again. But what we're going to do in the future is, one by one, I'm going to take every one of the must-have tools. And if it's a must-have tool that I have the nice-to-have tool with, we're going to demonstrate and show you live how well these things work. Thumbs up, Dremel. Thumbs up. The Wood Butcher loves them, uses them all the time. And you know I'm not bullshitting when I show you what I have. And I actually still have, because I'm still doing the tiling project. I mean, after about 20, 30 tiles, the tile cutter gave out. But I'm cutting 12-inch tiles too, so boom. And, so I'm waiting for Amazon to deliver them and this and that. But take a look at the Dremels. I swear by them for smaller projects and for stuff like this. Now, I have the table saws, the compound miter saws, the jig saws, and scroll saws and radial arm saws for the big stuff. But when it comes to fine-tuning the big stuff, Dremel is your answer to the rescue or solution. Okay? Take a look at them. I hope you like this. And I hope Dremel hears this. I'd like to get some free stuff from them and promote it. Okay? Anyway, this is Marcel, the Wood Butcher, as always, saying, protect your eyes, protect your ears, protect your lungs, and don't forget about these guys. Semper Fi, my friends. Make it a great day. And make some sawdust with Dremel.